What's on the mind of Tommy T this week after week 2 of the NFL and of course Thursday's game that just happened, Jets and Patriots? What's on your mind? What's bugging you?
Well, first of all, buddy, I just wanted to say that last week my easiest pick of the week was New Orleans over the Cowboys. I picked New Orleans, and you
crushed it.
Picked New Orleans, right? Because of the way Dallas looked in that first game against Cleveland. When I said I'm taking New Orleans plus the points, right? And then they scored the first 5 times they had the ball, they scored 5 touchdowns. I don't remember ever seeing that. I mean, it was such a slaughterhouse. You know, that was the easiest pick of the week. It was how bad the Cowboys defense was. It was laughable. So I was really happy about that game. You were texting me during the game going, "Oh my God, this New Orleans game is ridiculous."
I couldn't believe it. And the one thing about that, a little spin on the story on that thing is you got Mike Zimmer, who's now coaching the D of Dallas. And you got an ex-coordinator with the Vikings on offense. Is it his dad was a quarterback, coaching the Saints offense?
Yeah, Clint Kubiak. He's the new offensive coordinator for the Saints. The Saints got him from the Niners. He was like the quarterback's coach or something with the Niners or whatever he was with the Niners. So he comes over there. The Cowboys have a history of just laying a big turd playing against the Shanahan coaching tree, right? They have a difficult time for some reason stopping that running play, which I don't understand. I watched the 49ers, in the first game, they set it against Green Bay. They set up that running play where they somehow sweep it, and then they get Deebo Samuels and they get the tight end to come in on the side and block. So they got their linemen blocking, but then they got Deebo and the tight end blocking. And I'm going, well, why doesn't somebody just copy that play verbatim? Like why don't you just plagiarize? I don't understand why the Cowboys don't just watch the Niners game, copy every single running play that they run, and just run that play. How hard is that? You got a fullback and you got a tight end. Just do the same thing. The Niners have a brilliant offense, but then Kubiak does the same thing, and Zimmer is too old. I don't care. Zimmer's like 88 years old. They keep talking about all these old coaches. They don't work.
No, Zimmer, like I knew sooner or later something was going to happen with Zimmer. Like he's supposed to be this defense whisperer, and all that. And I thought it was interesting because Kubiak, I think he was with the Vikings a short time, but I saw that matchup with those two coaches, and I'm like, you know what, Zimmer, something's going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a crazy blowout. I mean, I was like shocked.
I follow the Cowboys closely. I'm on Bleacher Report. I'm on all of their sites. I watch all of the local stuff. The Fan out of Dallas, 105.3.
Yeah,
all of their local radio and all the local podcasts. So I follow them closely, and I know that team. That team will quit every single time. If you get them down, they just quit. They die. So the same thing this week against the Ravens. The game's going to be close in the first half. And the second half, they're going to quit, and then you're going to take the Ravens.
So that game, do you think it's New Orleans is really that good, like such a turnaround from last year? Like they look like unbelievable. Part of it's got to be the offensive coordinator because they're just coming back with the same. Yeah, or is it the Cowboys? Are the Cowboys that bad?
Well,
or is it just the same thing with the Cowboys?
The Cowboys have a tough schedule, so they play the Ravens this week. They got the Steelers in a couple weeks. They play the Giants next. They got the Steelers in a couple weeks. They play the Texans, the Lions. They're going to lose all those games. Yeah. Every good team they play, they're going to get hammered. And they'll beat the Giants. They'll beat the Commanders. But the Cowboys are bad. But here's the thing. The Saints are good. They're better. The Saints aren't that good. The Saints aren't as good as they looked last week. In fact, the Saints play the Eagles this week. And the Eagles handed that game on a platter. They just handed it. Not from Saquon dropping the ball. That was a bad play, dropping the ball. But that coach, I'm sorry to say that, Barry, because he's Italian, but that's the worst coach in the NFL. That coach is the dumbest coach in the NFL. He's all he's got to do is run the ball twice into the line, and he's going to kill 40 seconds on the clock. Even if he doesn't make the first down, the Falcons are going to have the ball on their own 5-yard line, down 3. The Falcons are not going to go for a touchdown from that position. If they got the ball on their own 5-yard line, down 3, the best they're going to do is try to tie the game. the way this idiot coach did it, kicks a field goal, they're down 6. Now, when you do something when a team's down 6 with no timeouts, that means that 4 downs are in play. That's what the Niners did in the Super Bowl. They made it so Mahomes was going to drive the ball and use all 4 downs every time, all 4 downs, because it's desperation. That's what they did with the Falcons, and they got an easy touchdown. So that coach is a moron. But they play better this week. They're going to beat New Orleans this week, or that game's going to go down the wire this week.
But why didn't they just kick the field? Weren't they up by 6 when they were down there before the Saquon pass that he dropped? Why didn't they just kick the field goal?
No, they were up 3.
Oh, they were up 3, then they did it. Okay, I got you.
Third down, dropped the ball, so they kicked the field goal after that play.
And then they played, and then they played that crappy defense, like against Kirk Cousins. It was like ridiculous. It's like if you pressure him, he's got that Achilles. Who knows how he is? You just let him. They gave that to him on a silver platter. He didn't even have to move around. He just was ball.
Everyone in their defense is like a first-round draft choice. They got that Jordan Davis from Georgia. They got Jalen Carter from Georgia. Here's another thing. All those Georgia guys, they suck. You get all these Georgia guys, you draft them in the first round, and you're all excited. I got this Georgia guy. They got Nakobe Dean. They got Jordan Davis. They got Khalil Ringo, the defensive back. Now they got Jalen Carter. They got all these Georgia guys. Nolan Smith. They stink.
They do. Remember the Vikings when they drafted that Lewis Cine? C-I-N-E. He's gone now. He never even played it down.
All of those Georgia guys, it's ridiculous. It's the same thing with Alabama. I mean, the Raiders drafted that Leatherneck or whatever that guy was. What's that offensive lineman they drafted? One of our guys who's coming on later will know it. But the Raiders drafted some guy from Alabama in the first round. He was the worst offensive lineman ever. The Giants, these Bama guys and these Georgia guys, half of them suck.
All right, so I want to move on a second, but basically, the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. They do this every year. I'm not really surprised. The Saints, we're going to see what they got. I think it's a little crazy to think like anoint them already. Everybody's saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but the Cowboys always do this. I'm not surprised. Every year it's the same thing. But the thing I want you to go at now is I really want to know what you think about the Panthers. I mean, there's not too much to say, obviously, but what a joke of a franchise.
Well, you see this a lot. The guy David Tepper, the owner, he's one of those hedge fund guys, right? Like, so he comes into the league and he's a multi-billionaire. He's kind of like the guy that bought the Clippers.
Sterling.
I know he doesn't have that kind of money.
Oh, you mean the Microsoft guy? What's his face?
Yeah, Ballmer. He's kind of like Ballmer. Like Ballmer. I mean, Ballmer has more money than all of them, but this guy David Tepper comes into the league. A hedge fund guy has more money than all of the guys. He has more money than everybody. He buys the Carolina Panthers, which are a joke. I mean, the reason he bought the Panthers is because their original owner, Jerry Richardson, had to sell the team because, he was doing the Harvey Weinstein, harassment thing, He was doing one of those things. So he had to sell the team. So this Tepper comes in, and Tepper, he fancies himself a football guy. He's the worst owner in the world.
Because let's recap what he's done. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, so McCaffrey goes, DJ Moore, right, goes. I know I'm missing a lot of guys just in that trade for CJ Stroud.
Brian Burns to the Giants.
Yeah,
right. He's got rid of all his good players, right, and
draft picks.
What's that?
And draft picks, like a crap load of draft picks.
Well, he traded DJ Moore to the Bears and like 3 picks or something to the Bears for the rights to draft Bryce Young, who I don't know what he even saw in Bryce Young, even at Alabama. I mean, what the heck? I mean, he was playing behind, one of the best teams in the country. He drafts Bryce Young. Now 2 games into the second season, and the new coach, Dave Canales or whatever, he's like the 5th coach in the last 3 years or something like that. He benched Bryce Young, right? Supposedly Tepper wanted Bryce Young drafted over CJ Stroud, which was the worst pick ever. It's like drafting Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning right now.
It's really bad. I mean, they keep making moves, and they keep making them like they're already screwed because they gave up all those picks and gave up DJ Moore and all those other guys that get Stroud, and then now it's just really trouble for them. Like, it's almost like they're going to be bad for a decade. It's like
they're not going to, I think they won a couple games last year, right? They might not win a game. Like, they might not win a game. They might
win a game.
Raiders this week, which actually this is a game where they could get the Raiders to let down because the Raiders had such a big win last week. So I don't know. And they're playing Andy Dalton, which is much better than playing the kid. Andy Dalton, at least.
Oh, yeah.
At least Andy Dalton will hang in the pocket and he'll deliver the ball. It gives him a better chance. But, yeah, I mean, this team is barely going to win a game this year.
So are you these owners, do you think right off the bat with this team and what's happened is when that guy took over, it wasn't great before with the other owner, that guy, amongst other things of him doing all those sexual harassments and all this other stuff. He wasn't good either. So do you think, like, with this scenario, it's the owner that thinks he knows something and he gets involved and he doesn't know anything and he just screws up the team for a decade? Like,
because he's a billionaire, he's saying, hey, wait a minute, like, I'm the man. Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Like, hire a football guy and get out of the way. And sometimes that doesn't work either.
No.
I don't think John Mara of the Giants is in the way. I think he's hiring football guys, and they're terrible.
Yeah, I get you. It's just such a disaster there. It was like I wasn't even surprised that they had to bench him, and I'm like, whatever. Like it was a terrible pick, and you give up all those guys for him. Like you said, it's like Ryan Leaf instead of Peyton Manning. It's nuts. So is there another little thing that's bugging you this week after watching last week or even the week before? Any other tidbits?
Not really bugging me. There's nothing. I mean, the games are pretty much coming out the way they are. The story that I like the best is your team, the Vikings. I love the Vikings. I saw some all 22 footage of the Vikings defense, and the guy was breaking down the Vikings defense with Brian Flores. Right now, he was breaking down Brian Flores, and he was saying Brian Flores is crazy. He's like, he's crazy.
Yes.
Watch this deep. He's like, watch this defense. And he's like, they got 5 guys on the line. They got 2 linebackers up. They got a single deep. They got 1 safety. They're playing single high safety.
Crazy.
Right? And so the quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage, and he sees basically 8 to 10 guys in the box. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Single high safety.
Yeah.
So he changes the play or it keeps the play. The play that they call it keeps the play on.
Yeah.
He said, Harrison Smith is right behind the defensive end. He could touch the defensive end. He could touch. He's right behind the defensive end. The defensive end's in a 3-point stance. Harrison Smith's right behind him. The ball snaps. Harrison Smith runs full speed, 25 yards backwards, and they get into an immediate cover 2 zone.
It's crazy.
And so the quarterback goes back to pass, and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
Yep.
Like this guy who broke down this tape shows that the Vikings defense is already elite just in scheming. It's a scheme elite defense.
It's a scheme, yeah.
But then they got Ivan Pace, who they drafted out of Cincinnati last year in like the 4th or 5th round or some low round pick.
Very late, 5th, I think, yeah.
They got great players.
The guy's great.
Oh, that Vikings.
Then they did good. They did good in getting rid of Hunter. They got rid of Hunter, and they did good picking up those. The guy from Miami that played at Miami. They got the guy from Houston. A lot of basically it was like Houston's like the Minnesota of the South.
Last week, yes.
So they picked up some good guys, and then they've got they just really did a good job putting that together. And the scheme is a big deal, obviously, but you got to have the players to run that scheme, and they're running it. And I'm very confident with Flores and what he's doing, and those guys have bought into it. And I know schemes can be broken, people can figure out things, but I just think they got a lot of good talent, and I think they'll still be tough even down the road as people figure things out.
The Vikings got an offensive coach, so their head coach is an offensive guy.
Yep. So
he's got Darnold. And they literally picked apart the Niners defense.
Crazy.
Got a couple injuries back there.
Yeah.
So this guy's got Darnold looking good. That's not easy to do. I mean, Darnold hasn't rarely looked good. He played for Carolina for a minute. He was a disaster. He was a disaster with the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Darnold look efficient. He's making Darnold look confident, right? So you're not asking him to do too much. I mean, obviously the defense is helping. So this Vikings off to a great start. Who do they play this week?
They play the Texans. In Minnesota. So the Texans come back in. Stephon Diggs comes back in. Hunter comes back in. Addison is out. The other thing I want to talk about with that San Fran game, people were obviously going, well, without McCaffrey, I get it. But the Vikings were also playing without Addison and TJ the tight end, who's going to come back. So it's kind of like, come on.
The game.
Huh?
Justin Jefferson got hurt in the game. He
got hurt in the game in the third. So, they could have faltered and they didn't. And I think, I'm looking forward to if that Addison, if he can get back on his feet, and then hopefully, I don't know when he's going to get the suspension for falling asleep in the middle of the 105 freeway at 3 a.m. in his Rolls Royce. Like, what are we doing? He's in the 105 freeway in the lane just sleeping.
You better enjoy Addison while you got him, because he's not going to be there much longer. He's a nut. Like
something's wrong with him.
He got a speeding ticket for going 120 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, so he went from 140 miles an hour, a legal scenario with the law, to 0 miles an hour parked in the freaking freeway in California at 3 a.m. This guy's like crazy. He's like goes from one thing to the next thing he's going to do. He's going to get arrested for like shoplifting a lollipop. Like this guy's nuts.
Well, I mean, first of all, a few years ago, Henry Ruggs goes over 100 miles an hour on a Vegas city street at 3 a.m. and kills that woman.
Bad.
Now, all these NFL players, if you don't know Henry Ruggs' story,
yes,
someone's not like putting Henry Ruggs' story, on just one, like just running it over and over again. Why would anybody be driving 120 miles an hour ever? Like an NFL player's career ends just like that.
Yeah.
These guys, like that guy Addison, he's a moron.
Because when that happened, like the Ruggs thing too, teams probably have a video of that now, and they probably show it and say you got to watch. Look at what happened in this guy's career, right? So you
look at that thing and showed it. But anyway, so that guy Addison, when I read last year that he got caught sleeping at the wheel in a 105, I said he's done. I don't care. Like he's done. He's gonna come out and say, oh, I made a mistake. I got to get my act together. You ain't getting nothing together. He's done.
And the thing was, what it happened because he went out with J.J. Jefferson to the premiere of the show Receivers that Peyton Manning does. Remember, they did quarterbacks, they did receivers, and he went because J.J. was in the show. So J.J. wasn't in the car with him. Like that's what it was. It was that night of the premiere. And he's at 3 a.m. and the thing near LAX. Like, what was he doing? Driving to LAX to get a plane? Like, why is he in that Rolls Royce? I know he's from Southern Cal, so he probably has a Rolls Royce.
He was either going home or to a girl's house. That's his neighborhood.
Yeah, he was trying to get to the LBC. He was trying to go 105. I think 105 goes down to Long Beach, Compton, somewhere over there. I think he was trying to go over there with his Rolls Royce. But anyway, I like him too. I feel bad because I don't think he's going to make it. And I think he's really good. But with all that being said, I'm tempering my emotions about the Vikings. I appreciate all the kind words you've said about them, and I really think they're great. And I think they got a good thing going here. And injuries are injuries. Hopefully their injuries come back, and then they don't get injuries as you go. But I'm really, really happy about it because even if McCarthy didn't get hurt, I never thought it would be good to throw him right to the Wolves immediately anyway. And Sam Bradford, I always thought that guy had skill. He always had skill.
What do you mean, Darnold? Yeah, Darnold, yes.
I mean, Darnold. He always had skill. And it's just now like kind of maybe it's going to show its face a little bit. And, this week, Texans are 2-0, but, it's in Minnesota. Diggs is going to come back.
I can't wait for this game. I'm going to be.
No, it's a great game. It's a CBS. I think it's the CBS game. Like
we don't get it here. Like we don't get it. I got the Ravens and the Cowboys, and I got the Raiders and the Panthers for the late game. So I'm going to have to go to the sports book to watch that game. But that's going to be the game.
Yeah, because here in New York, because the Jets already played. The Giants will play on Fox.
Yeah.
And then so they got the CBS Open. I think they're putting the Texan Viking game on. But anyway, that was good. That was good. That was good. You had a lot on your mind.
Yeah.
You went from Carolina, from Saints Cowboys to Carolina to Vikings, wrapped in some Raider stuff, and that's a good segue because now we'll bring in Falcone. I'm just going to call him Falcone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Falcone, the Raider guy. I'm going to bring Falcone in.
Super Raider fan.
Let me get Falcone in. Hang on a second here. Let's get him. I got to get the right thing. Hey,
gentlemen, how we doing this morning?
Hey, it's Falcone. Falcone, hang on. I want to play you something to make you feel at home here. Hang on.
All right.
Hang on.
From the Penguin.
Hang on.
There we go.
Is that the Raiders?
Out of wins, out of Raiders.
Wait, Falcone, can you do this when the guy starts? Can you know the verbiage?
I know some of it.
Frolicking song.
Swaggering boisterously.
That guy's voice.
Women.
Isn't that fucking great timing? What's that guy's name again?
That's John Facenda.
Yes, yeah, that's him.
John Facenda. Legendary voice.
Legendary voice. So I wanted to make you feel comfortable. We appreciate. I'm just going to call you Falcone.
I'm good with that.
Tommy tells me you're from Buffalo. Now you're in Vegas. Tommy and I are from Rome, New York, up there in the tundra like you.
What school in Utica?
What high school did you go to?
I went to Batavia High School, but I went to college at Mohawk Valley in Utica.
Oh my God! He was a Valley guy.
Yep.
Mohawk Valley. Are you kidding?
No, sir. That's what that welding degree got me. It got me a dealing job.
He went from the Stone City, and he goes over to the Handshake City. Utica is known as the Handshake City. Rome, New York is known as I don't know. They don't have a motto.
Matt's Brewery, right? Isn't that Matt's Brewery up there?
In Utica, Matt's Brewery is in Utica, yeah, and you probably drank a lot of beer at MVCC. And one of the things they teach you when you go to Utica and go to college is that Utica Club Pilsner beer was the first beer served after Prohibition at the Hotel Utica.
Oh yeah,
do you know that time? Yeah, it's like legit.
Wow.
The first beer ever served. So you went to upstate New York, so you know our roots. You know the Utica Rome. Yes, you probably had Utica Greens.
Yes, sir.
And chicken riggies. You probably had chicken riggies. So, but how did you become Mark Falcone, Raider fan here? How did you become, right now you're just sweaty guest. As you can see, we got your name there. You did sweaty guest for us. How did you become a Raider fan in Buffalo? How?
So the story goes like this. I was a kid in, the early 80s when the Raiders were really good, started playing football, and Howie Long and, Marcus Allen became Raiders, and they won the Super Bowl. At the time, the Bills, which was the hometown team, had Joe Ferguson, and they were just terrible. But then as the Bills started getting better in the late 80s there, the first team they beat to go to the championship game were the Raiders, 51-3. And, oh, man, that just made me hate the Bills even more. And then on top of that, the Raiders were the last AFC team to win, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And so every year, those 4 years, the Bills lost the Super Bowl. I had that little bit of pride left that the Raiders were still the last AFC team to win the Super Bowl. And then, to be honest, it's almost been a lifestyle. It's kind of crazy. But, yeah, moved out to Vegas. Thought about going up to Oakland every now and then. They ended up bringing, the team here. Can't ask for much more than that. So,
oh my God,
unbelievable.
I get it though, because I get like the Bills. Yeah, why would you want to be a Bill fan then? And you're not going to be a Jet or a Giant fan. You're too far away.
Right. Well, we had friends that were Jets and Giant fan. That's the home team in Buffalo. But nah, man, that black and silver, just.
And then it's really great that then you end up in Vegas, and they moved to Vegas.
I know. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, after that happened, I put a pool in at my house because I knew I wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. So I was like, I ain't going anywhere anytime soon, so I guess I should make my house my home because I'm staying. I'm here. So, yeah. By the way, that was Alex Leatherwood that you were talking about what the
okay, Leatherwood. What's that called? Him? Leatherneck? Yeah, Leatherwood. Yes.
And where did he go to college? Alabama?
Yeah, he's the guy with Alabama, and the Raiders drafted him. He was so bad that they cut him that second year. He didn't even make it to the second year, right?
And easy on the Georgia people because that Brock Bowers kid, he's going to be something. Come on.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Not all of them are bad, but you got to admit
Josh
the Eagles
Jacobs wasn't too bad from
them.
Alabama either.
The Eagles got 6 of them. None of them are good.
No, yeah.
All 6 of the Eagles guys are not that good.
Unfortunately, we had the Eagles that night, and I was thinking, all right, they scored. We're good. We're up by 6.
I got Falcone's bouncing. Are you on a bouncy thing?
No, I'll put you down then. I'm on my.
No, he's on a. You know the rubber ball that you put on the desk. You know.
Is he actually?
I'm bouncing.
Yeah, I think he's exercising on one of those balls, Tommy. Those stretching.
So Falcone, when the Raiders were down 23-13 in the fourth quarter, what were you thinking? Because they hadn't really shown much up until then. I mean, that drive that they got to get to 13 was a good drive, right? I think.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but up until then, they're down 23-13. What were your thoughts?
At that point, to be honest with you, the first 7 quarters of the season have been terrible. I mean, the offense hasn't gotten going. Like I was explaining to you earlier, is that if this offense gets clicking, we got so many weapons that we should be able to move the ball with no problem. It doesn't matter what defense they're playing because we could go with so many different options, and they weren't, and they have it. And to be honest with you, this week coming up, I'm hoping that they can get it going better against such a tough team in Carolina. But being a Raiders fan as long as I have, these are those games where you go in and you're like, we're going to crush them, we're going to kill them, and we end up losing 52-0 like we did to the Saints one time.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier to Barry D. I was saying that this, like, I don't know if the Panthers can win a game, but this game, this week is the kind of game that they could win. The Raiders come back home from a huge win in Baltimore, have a letdown, and the Panthers could play the game of the year, and this game could go down to the wire. But the thing I liked about the Raiders the most last week was offensively, they got their 2 best players involved. Like, they were dominating the offense. Obviously, Davante Adams, he caught 9 passes, right? And then Brock Bowers caught 8 passes, right?
No, Brock had 9 too. They both had 9.
They both had 9. Okay, so and then Davante, there was one he dropped. You know, there was a few that there were 2 he dropped. Okay, so they threw the ball to him almost 15 times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that I don't know who their offensive coordinator is. Oh, is it Geddes? Is that guy? Getsy, right? So, I mean, we never thought much of him because he was with the Bears, and anyone that goes to the Bears is always like the worst offensively. But what they did offensively showed me that at least they got enough sense to get the ball to their 2 best players. It's not hard to get those 2 guys the ball.
Well, if we're talking about that game, you got to recognize Max Crosby because he just tore it up on defense enough to not only did he tear it up on defense, but he pulled Minshew to the side and said, "Listen, get your shit together. Let's go. We got your back."
Yeah, you're right. Well,
he kept them in the game. You know, the defense kept them in the game, and then they finally started clicking. The big thing about this Carolina game, which I think, you know, as a Raiders fan, you hope that's going to be different, is that Pierce is going to have them ready. They recognize the fact. I think this is going to be a different team, and they recognize the fact that they have done that so many times in the past, where they come in and they let you down right there. You know. End up losing a game that they should easily win. I'll let you know on Sunday. We're going to go to the game, so we're going to be.
Are you going to go to the game? Can you videotape some stuff?
I probably could. Yeah.
I mean, you'll probably use your phone and do some stuff, and then maybe next week you come on, we could pop up some of that stuff, or you can talk about it or whatever. You know, because I went last year. When the Vikings played. Mm-hmm. In that terrible game. That was
I was there the following week when we scored the 63. So
yeah, okay.
I picked a much better game to go to that year. Huh?
It was a terrible game. So let me ask you though, like, are you concerned? Like, you know, you like the QB. I like the QB. You got the Bowers and you got Adams. What do you think of your running game though? Are you worried a little bit about the running game or no?
Well, yeah, definitely at this point.
With the loss of Jacobs.
Well. Zamir White's huge. He's a great running back, and he's got the opportunity. They're not making holes for him. I think the big thing was Colton Miller missing all of preseason, all of that. You could see it, especially the first game, and then the last game against Baltimore, he missed 2 assignments and you leave the defensive end all by himself.
Yeah,
what's going to happen? He was first play of the game. Bam! They don't.
I mean, do you think that's the weak link right now?
Well, right now the offensive line is. They got to get that.
And that's why you can't run the ball.
Right, they got to get that J kid from Oregon. He hasn't even played yet.
Madison's actually looked a little better than Zamir. so far. You know,
he has. He's been catching the ball out of the backfield, and he knows the system a little bit better.
Your Vikings guy, Alexander Madison.
He's good. He's weird though. Like he's good. He's strong. Like I remember when they drafted him out of Boise State, I was like, this guy's strong. This guy's a good pick. He's a good pick, and he can catch the ball. He was all over the field when he played at Boise State, and he did really good with the Vikings when he would come in. But then when he was, had to come in and he was the guy after they got rid of Cook, he just couldn't find holes. But then again, the Vikings offensive line wasn't great. So, I think he kind of didn't get a fair shot because the Vikings offensive line wasn't that great, and he was just going in the hole and 2 yards dropping down, It just wasn't that. It wasn't that good. I think he's the kind of guy you give him more action, he can really pick it up.
But the Raiders defense, that's the unit. The Raiders
defense,
They got Christian Wilkins on the defensive line now, John Jenkins.
Yeah.
That defensive unit is good. If the Tyree Wilson player, is he out already?
He's hurt. He's got a knee injury. We'll see how this week goes. But I think
if Tyree Wilson can step up. And then who's the other guy? Kuntz, right? Malcolm Kuntz?
Well, Malcolm Kuntz is out. He's on IR. He heard.
Oh, he's on IR?
See, they got some injuries. They got some defensive ends. If they could get some help from these defensive ends, that defense could turn into elites.
Oh, my God. Well, last week, Crosby was crazy. He had like 2 sacks.
Crazy, yeah.
Dude, that guy.
4 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss. He was killing them.
He's the defensive player of the year this year. He early on, first 2 games, he's in the lead for DPOI. He's the best right now.
I agree. Well, Hutchins is doing pretty good up in Detroit too. I ain't gonna lie. Hutchins. He had 4 sacks last week.
So Falcone. So you were probably worried before that game last week because Baltimore coming off a loss. You were probably like, oh shit, we're gonna go 0-2.
Well, especially after that game that we tried to play in LA. I mean, that was.
Oh, I gotta tell you about that game. I'm not. There's one thing that happened during that game. And I know it's going to be like, well, he probably did the right thing. The coach did the right thing. 16-10, you were losing 16-10. And it was 4th down near the 50 somewhere. I don't know if it was 4th and 3 or 4 or whatever it was. What was it? One. And there was how much time? 3 something?
No, there was about 7 minutes left.
Oh, there was 7?
Hey, and I tell you, he knows. He's got all the details.
Yeah, I got nothing. But still, do you think I would never have punted that ball? To me, it's like you might not see it. And what happened? They saw it, but it went back in the end zone. And I know 7 minutes is a lot of time. I was wrong on the time, but I just thought they can get this first down. They get this first down. They need a TD to get for the game. They don't need to even get in field goal position. I was just worried that if they gave the ball up, they would not get it back. Or they'd get a field goal, and then you'd be down 2 scores. You're not going to make it, right? And I just didn't get it. And what happened was the worst thing. They got the ball back, and they scored a TD, right?
Well, it goes back to the beginning of the game because I think it was the first play of the game. We threw the ball for 9 yards, and then we had it 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, and we couldn't convert it. He tried to do a 4th and 1 earlier on their side of the ball, and we didn't get it. And so when he went into that one, and we didn't get it the first 3 times we tried it, and the defense was playing so strong. At that point, we hadn't given up all those yardage yet. Then what happens? We end up punting it, dropping them back at the 8-yard line.
Yeah.
They hand it off 3 times like they thought, but that 3rd time, he goes into the middle, bounces to the outside, and he's gone. He was just gone. Well, actually, Hobbs ended up running him down and tackling him before he made it to the end zone. But, obviously, you don't expect that to happen, especially when you've stopped him the whole game. Right. That Dobbins kid wasn't even that fast.
Yeah. So do you think, would you have went for it?
I would have went for it.
Yeah.
You already went for it that many times, plus you're on their side of the ball. If you got it, my idea with football is you got to stop them no matter what. So what's the difference if you stop them at the 10-yard line or you stop them at the 40-yard line? You're going to make your offense go a little bit farther, but it just went to go show that.
Yeah, I was bummed out about that because I thought they can make this and they can win this game. I was saying they're going to win this game, and I just got bummed out when he punted it.
For me, what the big change in that game was and what makes teams elite, like unfortunately the Chiefs or like the Patriots used to be, is that we got that ball with about 2 minutes to go in the end of the second quarter, and we should have been able to double dip. If we would have been able to do that at that time, we could have been up 21-6 before they even touched the ball again. But that's not what happened. Obviously, he threw whatever he did there, fumbled the ball, went backwards. They got the ball at the 10-yard line. We ended up stopping them for a field goal, which was great. only going down. We were down 9-7 at half, but then we come out at half, 3 and out, boom, like typical Raider shit stuff. We go out and we do a 3 and out, and we don't do anything. Give them the ball back in the third quarter. So
yeah, but you guys still are in a good spot. I mean, you're 1-1. You're going to be 2-1. You're going to beat Carolina.
Yeah.
But I know the division's tough.
Well, we got Cleveland after that at home.
Tough though. The Raiders always play the Chiefs pretty tough.
They do, and the Chargers, they can beat the Chargers the next time. The thing is too, wild cards are going to be open in that AFC because there's a lot of Miami's. You never know what's going to happen to them now.
Well,
You only got really the Jets in that division, and then the other division. You don't know what's going to happen with Cincy, Cleveland, even Pitt. So there might be some openings. It's just you got to win as many as you can in that division just in case. And I think you'll win this week. I think you beat the Chargers, and like Tommy said, you play the Chiefs tough. You could beat them in October. That game in October.
Here's the thing though. I'm looking at the lines for this week's game, and a lot of times the Vegas odds makers, they tell us the whole story with the lines.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders are only favored by 6 points in this game.
That's crazy.
It's not a lot. I mean, it's not really a lot. I mean, Vegas doesn't believe in the Raiders yet.
No.
Because you're favored automatically at home.
The total's 39.5, 38.5, 39.5.
40 now.
It's 40 now.
Yeah. So, a lot of times, if you look at these lines, Vegas is going to tell you what's going to happen in this game. Like they think this game is going to be closer than, a blowout. They think that Carolina will give them a battle here. So, so the Raiders definitely are going to have to play another good game. I mean, they're going to have to get their 2 stars involved.
One of the advantages we're going to also have is that Marvin Lewis is on our team. He's an assistant head coach or an assistant to Antonio Pierce, and he's the one who actually drafted Andy Dalton, worked with Andy Dalton. If he can get our defense to shut him down, then we're going to have a problem. And the other thing is that Andy Dalton doesn't run around.
No,
not anymore. I mean, he did at one point. He was a big, strong runner. But
what is he? He's got to be 15 years in or so.
10 years ago, he was a big runner. Yeah,
right. So
that's gone.
Now, he's just going to be sitting back there, with Max coming around the corner. So you really got to see how good are their tackles.
How many of us
they can't stop Max? It don't matter. Right?
We all thought when they said Andy Dalton's replacing Bryce Young, we were like, oh my God, I forgot about him. I didn't even know he was still in the league.
I really didn't know either. He was the backup. I forgot. I was like, really?
Is he on another team like that? Fitzpatrick. Like, how many different teams has this guy been
on? Oh, Fitzpatrick was a big journeyman. He was on every team.
He was on 13 or 14 teams.
Yeah, 13, 14 teams. One time I had, but Tommy, so if they're the Panthers, is like I think if I was going to bet that game, that spread's too big.
It's only 6 points. It's not big enough.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it's not big enough.
As a Raiders fan,
they get 3 points automatically for showing up.
Falcone, do you like the under?
Yeah, the under probably work because I could see it ending up like last night's game, 24-3.
Yeah.
27.
So they could cover and under. That's always the hardest thing to get is the cover on a decent spread of the under.
And the under, yeah, that's always a hard bet.
That's always a hard matchup. But I think you're right. I think it could be that. I don't think Carolina's going to move the ball on that. I just don't think they're going to score more than 6, 7, 9.
Who do they got? Is it Chuba? Isn't Chuba their running back? Chuba
Hubbard? They got nobody.
Right?
Yeah, let me look at their thing. They got nobody.
And they got I don't know who the wide receivers are. Who do they got?
I'm sure we'll find out against the Raiders. It seems like there's always ends up being stars or something.
No.
No. They're not gonna.
Oh, trust me.
Although that Trayvon Morig on the Raiders,
the guy from Chicago last year, the rookie that never played a game and ended up coming out and beating us.
Is Trayvon Morig number 7
for us? Yes, sir.
That tackle that he tried on Dobbins against the Chargers. That was the worst tackle attempt I ever saw. On one of Dobbins' long runs, he runs through the line, and Trayvon Morig runs up, and he literally tackled air.
Yeah,
and Dobbins doesn't have. I mean, it wasn't like he put a great move on him. I said, "Oh my God, that safety is not that good." I know he's a first round pick or something, right? But he's not that good.
No, he was more of a developed player. I mean, we've had him for 5 years, so he's been on our side for, we've groomed him, so he
You
missed
groomed
that
him to tackle air.
Yeah. Come on. It's the Raiders. They do shit like that every now and then.
He tackled air.
They also just give the ball away when they're driving down
he
in
tackled
2 minute
air.
drive. So.
I mean, the Panthers, they've got that Chuba guy. He had 10 rushes for 64 yards last week. Against the Chargers. They don't got anybody. Their receivers, I don't know who these guys are. Tommy Treble, Thielen. Thielen's an old man like us.
On one of the talk radios here is that watch out because Thielen and the quarterback might get together. Both of the older guys know how to run it, but I'm not worrying about it because they'll probably put Jack Jones on him. And
I like Jack Jones.
Really stepped
Jack
up.
Jones,
So
I mean, what's your over under? What's your over under on Jack Jones' unsportsmanlike conduct penalties this year? Like,
since he already got a couple.
I mean,
I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be a good week for the Raiders. This is a great home game for them.
Right. Yeah, and that's the other thing is that it's their home opener, which to me is, I mean, the schedulers did the exact same thing last year. Last year we had to play the Broncos and then go play Buffalo in Buffalo. This year we played the Chargers and then we had to go play Baltimore in Baltimore before we came home to our first home game. And they haven't been home because they went to Costa Mesa for their training camp. So they had 2 open practices and they were awesome. Like they loved it. And so that's the other thing is that this is the home opener. They're doing the whole blackout thing. They want everyone to wear black. And I think that stadium is going to be rocking, especially after that comeback last week.
Win.
I thought that the schedule makers did the Raiders a favor. Same thing with the Jets. The Jets opened with 2 road games, right? They came back home 1-1, and they had a great game last night. Sometimes when the NFL makes you open on the road 2 weeks in a row, that's a great opportunity to split the first 2 games. Obviously you want to win both, but you split the first 2 games. You come home. And now the Raiders are coming off like last year. They flipped it. They beat Denver and they got beat by Buffalo. This year they're coming home. Come on. You get 2 road games, beat Baltimore in the early game on the East Coast, and you come back and you get the worst team in football. There's a great opportunity for the Raiders to start maybe. Well, obviously 2-1, but maybe the next one they're going to probably play home next week too, right?
Cleveland,
3-1. Yeah. There's a good chance for them now. They have a good start.
It's a really good chance. Yeah. Because who knows what's up with Cleveland with the QB thing? Like Watson, he's done. That guy.
Right.
He's more interested. He's more interested in just like going to the massage parlor with his towel. His towels.
Yeah, when you got that much money, I would too.
Yeah, and he's just like going there with his towel. He's got like a signature towel with a hole in it. The guy going to all these freaking massage parlors. But I think it's going to be an exciting day, and that's why if you can record some, if you're going to have a great time there. I love it. When I went there, the game sucked. The Vikings won. But it was a great atmosphere in there. I love the way they do the rock and roll music, and they do and the Raiders cheerleaders. You can't beat them. I was like on the 30-yard line, 25-30 on the Raiders side.
Yeah, that's where we are. We're up a little bit.
It was perfect.
100 section, but we're about the 30, 35-yard line. It's awesome. I went to the Charger game. You should have been at that.
We got to get Father Tony in now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got to get Father Tony in. So let's let Falcone go and let's get Father Tony.
Yeah, Falcone blessed himself. That was a good move to let Falcone. We'll recap next week what happens. You let us know. And if you can videotape any hot girls.
I'm good at pointing them out, right, Tony?
Yeah. You talk to like a hot girl and just ask her like.
I know all about Falcone before I met him. I know his girl. She talked about him all the time. My boyfriend, the Raider fan. My boyfriend, this. I said, "You like the Raiders?" She said, "No, I hate the Raiders." Right? She hates the Raiders, right?
Yeah, Tommy told me that story. That's a funny story.
Yeah,
that's my girl.
Yeah, burning her over. I'm getting there. I'm slowly twisting it in there.
So yeah, go have a good time. We appreciate your time today, Falcone. I love the connection of the Buffalo MVCC.
I know, that's crazy. That's funny. That's
crazy. I mean, I think the MVCC. I think their mascot's an eagle.
Yeah, right.
It's an eagle. Yeah, and Utica College is a Pioneer. Whatever, some Pioneer guy.
Have to go up and have some Matt's Brewery if they still make it.
They still make it. Matt's Brewery basically they're Saranac also now.
I'll bring some of that Genesee Cream Ale from Rochester. We'll bring some Genesee cream ale.
Oh, I love the Jenny Creamers.
Oh, God, we drink
I love the Jenny Creamers. And you know what they call those in the next day, Jenny Screamers.
Yeah.
I went to college in Rochester. I love those. But you go tape some action, come back and recap it and get your take on it because it's going to be your eyes on it. And then we'll talk the Cleveland game and you definitely try to get some hot chicks in it.
Yeah,
Your girl will be with you, right?
Huh?
Is your girl going to go to the game with you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it'll be good. Don't worry. She don't care. She understands. I explained to her.
Don't care, buddy.
I love it. I love this guy. He's got it down. This guy.
Good.
And then one last thing. What's the nickname of Buffalo? I know this, and I think it's
Bills. I love losing Super Bowls.
No, but is Buffalo known as the Stone City? From Rick James, the Stone City, because it looks like a stone, and in the winter it looks like some stone, and that's why Rick James had that Stone City band or something. Is that true?
I don't.
It's not true, is it?
Well, Buffalo has to have the best welcome to sign. Like Vegas has it has a legendary welcome to Vegas sign. As you come into Vegas, welcome to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
But Buffalo's welcome to sign has to be welcome to Buffalo, New York, home of the 4-time Super Bowl participant.
I thought it was just a big white sign because that's all you see is a big white out.
It's the white out. So that was wrong. So that Stone
I don't
City.
remember the snow. I mean, to me, my memories of Buffalo are more of a steel city that kind of after New York City stopped building up, kind of filtered out and just whatever was left there was left there. But I've never referred to it as a stone city. But
Yeah, Tommy, one time, Tommy and I, last thing is Rome Free Academy played a New York State championship football game against Jamestown over there.
Mm-hmm.
Some near south of Buffalo. Is Jamestown over there? Jamestown's over there, right?
Jamestown's just south of Buffalo. It's kind of
They played them and they got beat in a snowstorm 7-6 or something. It was like a bad snowstorm. They didn't cancel the game. They just played it.
They just let them play it where you could.
Yeah, they just let them play it back in the day. They didn't care about that kind of stuff. They didn't have any domes yet,
Right.
and they just let it go. All right, Falcone. So Tommy Falcone, he's a Goomba. Falcone.
He's great.
Yeah, watch the Penguin. My name's used a lot in there in that new Penguin series.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Even the guy I mentioned, Colin, whatever his guy, the
Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
Colin Farrell. I'm gonna watch that. I just saw a preview for that. Falcone. I love that name. Falcone. It's a great name. All right, so T, anything else for your buddy here, Falcone?
Oh,
One
thanks,
more thing, go Raiders!
Go Raiders. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All right, Falcone. Thank you for your time. Have fun at the game, and we'll check you next week.
Sounds
All
great.
right, my man.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Out. There is Father Tony. It's Father Tony.
Hey,
and Father Tony, we're sorry. Hey, we're sorry we kept you waiting. We had this guy, Falcone. Do you know a guy named Falcone?
I know a couple of Falcones.
You know a couple of Falcone. This guy's from Buffalo, Falcone. And yeah. And he's a big Raider fan. Tommy knows him. He's from Buffalo. And he's Catholic, and all that kind of stuff. So how's everything been, Father Tony?
It's good. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
By the look of the collection plate this week, I see you guys didn't do very good.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we were 3-3. I was 1-2, and Tommy was 2-1.
Who had the Jets?
Yeah.
We didn't bet that game.
Yeah.
We didn't bet that game, but last week I was 1-2 on my totals. I'm over/under guy. I'm very over/under, and Tommy was 2-1 on the sides. He had two winners. He had the Pats and the Saints, and then the Broncos could have been a winner. It was there.
I'll stick with my pick, but this week we got some good ones. Okay, listen,
Okay.
Father Tony.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the Cowboys because I know this team. And they're quitters. They're quitters. They got no heart. Right? So the Cowboys are home right now. They were up until last week. They won 16 home games in a row in the regular season, but they've lost their last 2 home games by 40 points. 48 points to Green Bay in the playoffs. 44 points last week to the Saints. So now they're home to the Ravens. And get this, the Cowboys are a 1-point underdog. They're a 1-point underdog. I told you, Barry D. I told you that Vegas will give you the picks with their line sometimes. Just look at the line, and the picks are slam dunk. So take the Ravens to win easy. Not 44-19, but easy. In the second half, this game won't be close. So that's my first pick, Father Tony.
I got to write that down. So they're -1?
No, the Cowboys, the Ravens are -1.
So you're just gonna take it -1, whatever. Raiders. Okay.
Yeah, if the Ravens were -4, I'm taking them.
Ravens, okay. Ravens -1, Tommy T.
Yes, now Barry D, you're gonna be mad at me, but the Houston Texans are in Minnesota. Same scenario. Minnesota's home, they're +2. So right there.
That's telling you something.
You remember the movie Heat? Remember when Al Pacino went into the nightclub and he was trying to meet the informant? I think it was Tone Loc. Remember Tone Loc was in?
Yeah.
And he was supposed to give Al Pacino some tips, like he was an informant. And Pacino was looking for some information, and so Tone Loc tells him, "Listen, there's an ex-con. I bumped into him on the street, and I asked him what he's got going on, and he said, "Oh, I ain't got nothing going on. There's nothing happening. There's nothing happening." And Tone Loc said, right then and there, I knew. Pacino said, "You knew what?" He said, "He's a fiend for action." So right then and there, I knew he had something going on. This is the same thing.
So this is the same thing, huh?
When Minnesota is a 2-point home underdog, right then I knew. Right there, I knew. Something going on.
Yeah.
Right? So those are my 2
picks. You're going to take the Ravens are playing at the Cowboys.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Cowboys
and the Texans are playing at the Vikings. And you're going to take both of these guys.
They're both home dogs. You know why they're home dogs? Because Vegas knows that right then and there. I know.
Right. So because what you're saying is, Father Tony, we did a little of this last week. Tommy's saying if the Ravens are -1 at Dallas, they're really -4 because you get 3 points as the home team. Usually in this thing, you're -3 initially because you're playing home. Right, Tommy? So you're actually, that's why you're doing, and the Texans are -2 or +2?
Well, no. I mean, the Minnesota and Dallas are home underdogs.
They're home dogs.
They're home underdogs.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So if you add in the extra.
It's really a 5-point swing because the Texans are supposed to get 3 points.
Yes.
So it's a 5-point swing. That's a huge swing.
It's a huge swing, and the other one's a 4-point swing.
Yeah, these are huge swings.
I get where he's going. See, sometimes I know that sounds odd, probably, Father Tony. I don't even know how you can compare it to like maybe something at the church.
Could I be taking notes? I got all this information right here. I got swing, I got underdog, I got all this terminology you're throwing at me again.
No, just focus.
-5 and -3.
No,
taking notes. What do you guys want from me? All right.
I want you to focus, be the conduit. Just focus on being the conduit to the man upstairs. Just focus. Just focus on that. So Tommy's got the Ravens. And he's got the Texans. And now let's see what he's going to come up with the third one. What's your third one, Tommy?
My third one is much more conventional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My third one is going to be I got the Rams are +6.5 at home on Monday night. Again, 9.5-point swing, right?
And who are they playing again?
The 49ers.
The Niners.
I mean, these lines, Barry D, these lines are amazing. These lines are crazy.
So you're going with all 3 teams that are actually get him to home.
This one, I'm not taking the Niners. This one, I'm taking the Rams.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The Rams are 6.5-point underdog. I'm going to take the Rams plus the points.
Wow.
The other two, I'm taking the road teams, the Ram plus the points.
That's a lot of points at home for a division rivalry kind of game.
The Rams are missing Puka Nacua.
Yeah, you know him, Father Tony Puka.
You say Puka Nacua 10 times fast.
We go way back.
Try to do that, Father Tony. Puka Kanua.
Puka
You
Kanua.
can't even say it once.
He did it once.
Puka whatever.
Puka whatever. He quit. He quit right after one. He quit.
Okay, so they got Puka Nacua is out, and now Cooper Kupp is out, right?
Done,
So
yeah.
the Rams, their receiving core is decimated, right? But the 49ers are missing. They're missing. Well, obviously Christian McCaffrey's out now.
Yeah.
Deebo's not playing, and there's a chance that George Kittle's not playing. So this game is the injured list game. Like there are going to be a lot of backups.
Yeah, those are three good picks. And last week you were 2-1. This week I like those first two, even though one of them involved the Vikings.
Proof for me, I could maybe go 3-0 this week. You gave me a half-hearted, in the name of the Father. You get this week. I need some effort into. This is what you're on for. Help me.
What do you want me to do? A rosary for these bets? Okay.
Yeah.
You can't ask me to come on here and bless your bets. Okay. What do you want? You want it in English or do you want it in Latin? What do you want?
Give it to me in Latin.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that probably works better.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Hail Mary, full of grace. All right. Please bless Tommy's bets. All right.
So can you make it like a little more specific? Please bless Tommy's bets to be 3 wins and 0 losses.
Father Tony, you're a handsome guy. When's the last time you've been with a woman?
Oh well.
You're a handsome guy.
Here we go. Here we go again. All right. You asked me on here to bless bets, and now I'm getting a third degree about my sex life. Don't worry.
Yeah, now we're talking. Wow, that was right, Tommy. You went right. Wow,
Don't worry about
Look
it.
at this guy. I mean,
I
how do you do that?
I tell you
I
what.
went to school with a kid named Anthony Fregapan.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Man, he was a year older than me. You know Anthony, right, buddy?
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, he went into your profession. I said, how are you going to do that? Like we were in that. Yeah, I remember we were,
Yeah.
in school together, playing sports together. I said, you're doing what? Like what? Really? Like, but that's it. You're done, right? And
When you get the call, you get the call, all right? And then you answer the call, and then you act like a man, and you follow through. You know what I'm saying?
I think he left though, Father Tony. I think he quit.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he quit. I don't know what they call that. What do they call when they quit? Just exit? What do they say?
Don't they excommunicate you?
Excommunicate, one-way ticket to hell. They got a lot of them.
One-way ticket to hell.
Yeah,
I think he gave up because Tommy knew him better than I did, but it was like, we don't think this guy's going to make it. I don't think he made it. God bless him. But I don't think he made it. But Father Tony, he just doesn't have the strength that you have.
And God loves it when you make a promise to him and you break it. So
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
listen, let's get specific, okay? Let's get specific, okay? In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. All right, Hail Mary, full of grace. Let Tommy go 3-0 with these bets, okay?
Thank you.
All right. So now it's time for me. Mine are going to be easy, Father Tony. I don't play around with those point spreads or the movement of the point spread of the team against the team. I'm over under Barry. They call me over under Barry. That's all I do is pick over unders, which is the total score of the two teams combined. At the end of the game, it's either over or under the number. So this week, I'm going to do this. The Eagles are playing the Saints at 1:00 on Sunday in New Orleans, and the over-under is 49.5, and I am going to take the over. And everybody knows when I say over and there's a half, I am going to buy the hook down. You have to give them you have to give them like an extra $10, Father Tony, and they take away that half a point. The reason I want that is because I don't want the game to end with a 49 total. Because if it ends on a 49 total and I bet 49.5, I lose. So that's why I get rid of it. I shave it off. It's like shaving in the morning.
What game are you betting over?
Eagles Saints.
Yeah. So listen.
You like that?
Father Tony, answer me this. How come every time Barry D places his bets, he's got so much jargon? It's like he's betting in Latin. The hook, the shave. What was he talking about?
I'm still waiting for the team.
Okay, but I'm not doing the team. That's Tommy's thing. I'm just doing the total of the game.
I get it. All right.
I'm counting on both teams. So I got the Eagles Saints over 49. And then I'm going to go with the Lions and Cardinals over 51. It's 51 and a half right now. I'm going over on that game. And then the next one, where's that other guy? I think I'm going to take the Vikings game because that's my team, and I think I'm going to take that game over. I know that sounds crazy.
Does that contradict Tommy's bet? Because, I already bled.
Well, not really. I mean, if the score is high score.
The Texans winning that game, so the Texans could score, 30 points. I mean, a couple of turnovers and C.J. Stroud, all the Nico Collins,
Sure, C.J. Stroud and Nico.
Yeah, it doesn't affect it, but I'm going to take that one. I think it's 46 and a half. I'm going to take that one over at 46. I know that's a little risky one, but sometimes you got to do a little risky. Like Tommy's Rams bet is a little bit risky.
I like that.
So Tommy's the team guy. I'm the over-under guy as we continue this thing down. And so could you please bless Barry D's 3 over-under bets? Could you tell the man?
Absolutely. Would you like it in English or Latin?
I think Latin is the way to go.
Okay. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Let Barry go 3-0 on these bets, eh?
Yes, because right now, Father, we're only 3-3, Tommy and I together, and that's what usually the experts are. They're 50%. So we got to get above 50% to keep you in the mix here and keep the donation.
We have full confidence in you, Father. We have full confidence in you.
And you know what? I want to show you something, Father. I have so much confidence in you and the Lord above that.
Smart.
This is something that I have. It's a candle. I got a candle here that I want you to bless this candle. I got the flames going. This is my good luck candle for the bets, and this is the Virgin de la Milagrasa. Virgin de la Milagrasa. You can get these at any bodega in the city, and this is one of my favorites. And the other favorite candle I have is the Baby Jesus candle. And I like that sometimes too, and usually it works. So, do you believe in these candles?
Absolutely. Did you steal that?
No. I bought this. No, I'm not. No, I bought it. I bought that candle, and every time I buy those candles, sometimes the clerk looks at me like, "What are you doing?" And I just kind of look away and I look up.
There you go.
And then they don't say nothing to me because they're thinking, this guy make a connection.
You gotta light the candle, you got to kneel down, you got to say a prayer. That's how they work. All right.
So the candle doesn't work over kneeling and praying.
Yeah.
You got to light it.
Listen,
you got to kneel down.
Father Tony.
Oh, okay.
I got to make a confession.
Oh
no.
How long has it been since your last confession?
That's my confession. I haven't been to confession in 40 years.
Oh my God.
Now, there's a chance that I haven't committed a sin in the last 40 years, so there's a good chance of that.
True. So how would you, Father Tony, how would you address someone like him that came in to the confessional and said, Lord, it's been 40 years since my last confession.
Father, for I have sinned.
Yeah.
My last confession was 40 years ago.
What would you do? How do you approach that?
I would say, no problem, my son. What do you got?
All right, and are you expecting? A big list?
What about a welcome back?
Well, that would be good. Yeah.
Would that make you feel better?
Yeah. Welcome back.
And
so uncomfortable.
And what type of list, Father? Is it like a 20 deep list of sins after 40 years?
after 40 years. 20 deep. 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 20 de
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard one yet.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you something. What's the most Hail Marys you've ever given?
Yeah.
25.
That's it.
That's a lot.
Wow.
25, yeah.
Oh, you must. Oh, that's nothing.
Do you combine the Hail Marys and the Our Fathers? Like sometimes they go, 10 of that, 10 of that. Do you do the combo?
That's called the rosary. That's what we do. Yeah, you go say 2 rosaries. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's the combo.
It's a combo.
Listen, all I can tell you guys is that when my mother sees this, I'm in big trouble. Like she.
Well, yeah, and your dad's going to have a heart attack.
Why?
And,
because I'm making light of the fatherhood.
Yeah.
Light of of your profession. It's frowned upon. You're not supposed to make light of anything.
The only thing you're making light of is the fact that you haven't been to confession in 40 years. That's the only thing I see you making light of right here.
Thank you.
That's it. You know what? Get your ass to confession.
Right? So Father Tony, in closing, so let's recap the bets. Tommy T has, going back, Tommy, go Texans plus the points.
No, I got Texans -2.
-2.
I got Ravens -1, and I got the Rams plus 6.5.
Okay, and I got the Vikings Texans over, the Rams Cardinals over, and the Eagles Eagles what's that one? Eagles. What is that? Eagles Saints over. Eagles Saints over.
And he's got the hook, and he's gonna shave, and he's got the bop,
Bippity boppity boop.
Yeah.
So, Father Tony, just one last thing. Did you learn anything from week 2 to week 3? Did you watch the Saints? That should be your team, the Saints. They killed the Cowboys. They crushed them. I mean, are you watching this and thinking, this is interesting. Maybe I'd like to get involved in this kind of betting thing?
Well, I am now, all right, because I wanna have a little more knowledge about what the heck you two Mamalukes are talking about with all this jargon, all right. So I'm gonna pay more attention. But I gotta be honest with you. I watched the Jets games last night. I watched it without sound, all right. I don't like a lot of this, while I'm trying to watch the game, all right.
Yeah.
It's very distracting.
And I understand. Father, I understand that, but one of the things that we try to do is we're just fans, we're sports fans. So I don't want to talk above you, I don't want anyone listening going, these guys act like they know, like we don't know nothing. We don't know anything more than any other fan. Just like those guys on like Stephen A. Smith and these guys, like they don't know more than us. Like
as far as getting predictions right, but you guys know how to place bets and you guys know what you want, and I'm trying to figure it out. All right, I'm taking notes. I got swing.
I love it. You're invested. You're invested in us.
Listen, I got swing. I got by the hook. I got points. I got a lot of stuff to Google.
I love it. He's invested in old men in sweats because Tommy T and I, we may get a new job because there's a guy at ESPN that left, Wojo. His name's Wojo, and he was the breaking news guy. Breaking news. Tommy and I, we really don't have a lot of breaking news. We have breaking win. We don't have a lot of breaking news, but
they didn't call him Wojo, buddy. They called him Woj, W-O-G, Woj.
Whatever.
He just quit his job to go be the general manager of St. Bonaventure College. St. Bonaventure. He left the ESPN to go to St. Bonaventure.
And that's a Jesuit school, Father.
Yeah.
We went to St. Bonaventure, part of the Jesuit colleges. They're called the Bonnies. The most famous athlete ever out of St. Bonaventure is Bob Lanier.
Of course.
Bob Lanier was a basketball player from Buffalo, I believe.
This guy leaves Bristol, Connecticut. He lived in Bristol, Connecticut for the last several years. He leaves Bristol, Connecticut for Buffalo, New York. Right away, he's obviously a scientist.
Tommy, it's worse than that. He's going to Olean. It's in Olean, Olean, south of Buffalo. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Isn't it
Bonaventure?
Buffalo?
It's not even in Buffalo. It's in Olean.
Okay.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
This guy was one of ESPN's top, what would you call him? He was an investigator.
Analyst, breaking news.
This guy was like watching a wet dish towel. This guy had nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing. I mean, he'd talk, and we'd be like, where did he get this guy from? He's breaking stories. He was breaking stories that Barry D and I had already read on the internet.
What are we doing here?
So it's a good thing he left.
Oh my God.
Oh yes.
So-
And maybe we got a shot now to be the breaking news guys.
Yeah, this is gonna be big.
Make more room for McAfee.
Yeah, and more room for us with the father.
Yeah.
But the father could be really popular on ESPN.
Very deep. My father hates McAfee.
Your dad hates everybody.
He doesn't like McAfee.
He hates everybody.
That guy.
Your dad would hate Father Tony, which I can't believe I said that, but he hate Father Tony.
Yeah.
Listen,
Sounds like a
my
sinner.
father.
All right, so look, that's it for today. All right, Old Men at Sweats, Barry D, Tommy T, and our sweaty guest, Father Tony Capolini.
Father Carolini. Thank you, Father.
I messed that up again. Sorry about that. Thank you for your time, Father Tony. Thank you for blessing our bets. And we'll be back next week with Father Tony to review our bets from week 3 and then go for week 4. And maybe Father Tony will have a bet by then.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll download a betting app and go, oh my God, I'm excited about this. Let me place a bet. I don't know. We'll see.
I thought you guys would ask me my picks, but next week.
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
God